Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Frank Gartland, and I work in the product management group here at Skillable. Well, for this fireside chat, we're going to talk about, a topic that we kind of revolve around, and it has to do with skilling, right? Skills. We're Skillable, which is skills and labs and abilities, kind of all rolled into one word. And I want to sort of talk a little bit about the problem in the planet that we think that it's uniquely prepared to help you to solve. And this is this notion of skills, like having people that can actually do the jobs that we need them to do because they have the right skills. And those skills are not just technical skills. People talk about technical skills, but this is where 4/5 of the skill shortage vacancies that we talk about all the time, or at least partially caused by technical or practical skills. And I tend to emphasize practical. A practical skill is something like, hey, I technically know the concepts. I technically understand it, and I can answer a question correctly. I can have a conversation about it. But a practical skill is what's needed when, hey, there's a problem, something's down. Who do we call to solve it? Once that person solves it, do they have the practical skills to explain what happened and to make sure it doesn't happen again? The practical skills are also a big part of the shortage. And I think for those of us that have been in the training industry and different forms of learning and certification, and all these really important industries over the last 30 or 40 years, one of the things that we ask ourselves all the time is, well, what's missing? Like what are the things that we could be doing to help people have these skills? And I think that from our standpoint, a big part of it is live environments where people can really learn while they're doing something. You talk about people setting up sandboxes a lot, where, hey, just go out and play with it, right? Technical people love sandboxes, and they love going out and playing, and they learn while they do. Like, that's an important thing. But there's not a lot of live environments. Like if you want to learn AWS or Azure, well, you got to pay for that. Like, that's a thing. So that's a challenge. And then also, once they get in that environment, well, what are the methods to help them to develop mastery and confidence, right? What are the scenarios that play? Like, is it a realistic, genuine kind of environment that I'm in? And do I have kind of a problem to solve, right? And if I solve it, did I solve it right? Is anybody validating it? Do I know if I did things correctly? Because if I just did something, but I'm not sure if I did it perfectly or good, then the confidence is kind of not there, right? So again, when that problem happens, I might not be the one that rushes to solve, right? The next bit is scaling. Like, I remember in the 90s when I was an instructor, and I used to build out all these hands-on training labs. Oh my gosh, it was a ton of work. But figuring out how can I get this lab for these 15 people, or maybe the labs for 40 people or 100 people. How can I get hundreds of thousands of people around the world to understand this technology? Or I've got 50 people around the country that are sales engineers. I need to train them, and then I've got another like 400 sales engineers that are at my partners all around the world. How do I train them? I mean, these are real problems, and I think that because these things are missing, there's a current reality, right? And if you're on this webinar, I guess we can call it, no, it's a fireside chat. That's what it is. If you're listening to this fireside chat, I hope you can agree with me that there's a current reality that labs are hard. They're hard, they're expensive, and as a result of them being hard and expensive over time, organizations just like yours struggles with just the cost. Like, how are we going to do this? Well, we can't. We're going to just validate folks with just multiple choice, or we're going to let them practice on a simulation maybe, or we're just going to give them a sandbox, right? We'll let them figure it out on their own, right? These are the things that people struggle with. The how can we get labs to this many people? The next thing is, because labs are so hard, a lot of the time people are just like, I want to make it work. Like, go watch a bunch of videos and go, take some courses, right? And at the very end, we'll give them a lab that they can follow some steps. Those are really not designed to teach people anything. The teaching happened elsewhere. The lab is just kind of a, well, we're giving people the ability to play with it afterwards. So becoming more capable, and I would say becoming more confident too, is a limit there. And then finally, because they're not validated, it's that same thing. They're missing opportunities to get that all-important confidence. big problem happening or a big project, you want people that are shoulders back, confident, ready to solve that problem, right? And that's what we believe hands-on labs can do.